It's just land. That might get you some land from a guy that's got enough of it.
Right, but I mean, really, all it is a sparkly metal. You know, it looks kind of nice when it's around your neck or on your finger or anything like that. But outside of that, what value does it really have in a disaster scenario or something of that nature? You know.
Well, even if it's.
Go ahead, Doc.
Even if it's not a disaster,
mm-hmm.
what we're saying when we say 4,000. We're comparing some worthless Federal Reserve notes to the value of gold, and what we are failing to see is that a certain amount of gold, and pure gold, as pure as you can get,
mm-hmm.
and even a certain amount of silver has always seemed to have traded for the same kind of hard assets, and by that I mean forever. So, for example, we've always heard this. The size of a dime in silver classically could get you a loaf of bread, and then an ounce of silver could get you a meal, and then an ounce of gold could get you a suit, and it always has had about that kind of value. Now you can get a pretty darn good suit, but the point is it's always held on to a certain intrinsic trade value because of what labor it takes to get it out of the ground. You know, somebody's not going to go over here and dig gold out of the ground and spend 4 years and give you the equivalent of a week's pay to buy something because he couldn't afford to. So when we actually see what is gold worth, well, it's always had a certain trade value, but I'm going to put a caveat with this,
mm-hmm.
and that is when there is a constant society or civilization in existence, be it dictatorial or free. When you get into and I don't want to say that we're probably going to go into a total anarchy state. We could, very likely, could have pockets of a lot of anarchy. Generally speaking, people that are starving to death have no interest in gold and silver. Now, what I've experienced when I've been in these countries that have had revolutions is that they have this progressive drop in levels of commerce. And I can explain that, but all I can say is at one point, gold and silver is no longer desired. But as things get settled and reestablished, then the gold and silver commodity begins to be used again.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that's kind of why, it's ridiculous. I mean, we're actually talking about gold in terms of the worst fiat money system, the most worthless thing on this planet, being the dog that wags the gold tail when it should be the gold dog wagging the fiat tail.
Mm-hmm.
But see, we're in that period of time. Even Scripture says in the last days, wrong would be right and right would be wrong. So there's no value in what we should have value in, but there's a fake value in things that shouldn't. Like we have a fake president. We have a fake money system. we have fake representation in the Senate. We have a fake judiciary. I mean, everything is backwards. And in fact, by the way, one of the things that was going to give us some kind of indicator about the period that we live in now, called the sixth night, and is that it would look like the period of the 60s, actually from 62 to 72.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's a lot of characteristics that are parallel we talked about earlier before, and one of them was that gold and silver spiked during the last period of that time, and then it went back down. And the reason why is for the same reason. The fiat system gets completely out of line, or it gets out of line because it's truly worthless. Though, it's manipulated, and there's a reason to bring it up and down if you're in that world. But this time, I think, guys, if I were going to say what's going to happen, they're getting ready to. They built this house of cards, and as long as they can get outside the door, they've got this big sledgehammer. They're getting ready to knock the door frame down, and we're all going to be inside it. And that's what I think their plan is. So, yeah, they say, a lot of people, question, why would they do that to themselves? They're not doing it to themselves because they're going to have another monetary system in place ready to catch us when it all goes down.
Mm-hmm. That's correct. Now, what do you think this transition's gonna mean to us, Doc, as far as transitioning from the sixth night to the seventh day?
That's a good question. Let's nail the date down. They do have a specific date on the Mayan calendar. The day of transition, when it starts to go from, when it is night today, it is that goes today, November the 3rd of this year. Now, what does that mean? Well, first of all, you have this epic calendar, this epic time code of events, and whenever you have something like that dramatic, dark to light happen, it's a transition. It's kind of like being a criminal in the middle of the night. You're out there and you've had all this time, nighttime, to do all your criminal acts, and you're out there still doing your criminal act, and all of a sudden somebody comes by and trips the light, and all of a sudden all these floodlights can't come on, and you're going to get caught. But guess what? They know they're going to get caught. They feel they're going to get caught. They're ready. They know somebody's running right now over to the light switch to throw it on. We're that close. They know it's just about ready. And what happens when a whole bunch of brain-dead people thought that was one way, and all of a sudden all this stuff gets revealed, and they go, he's stealing our money. Everybody in town gets their, they get their torches, they get their pitchforks, and off they go, right? There's no judge. There's no jury. It's chaos.
Right.
So that's what we're getting ready to have happen.
Well, what do you think, Andrew? How do you feel about that?
Oh, I don't even know where to go, man. I just got stuck looking at this article from China. Just the last second, like, oh, you got to be kidding.
Griff, I do feel like it's I do feel a sense of dread, but in the same sense, I almost feel a sense of excitement. I hate to call it that, but I mean, think about how it would be to emerge on the other side.
Cheers. I'm touching on to what you're saying. That's exactly how I feel about it.
Well, I think we should all pray that it does come down. I, by the way, am on the same page with Dr. Waterman. I agree with what he's saying. It's the only thing that'll save us and get us out of this. I hate to call it slavery, but I can't think of a better way to express it. We are slaves through the monetary system and through the mandates and regulations put down by Washington, since they have the guns. Whoever owns the military controls. And there is no justice in the courts. There's no morality anymore. It's all corruption. The only thing that's going to save us is total collapse, and then we can rebuild on the other side. And that's what I'm hoping for.
As am I.
And that's how it works. These guys that have more real assets than they need, they have 10 years of food stored up, and they still have $1 million in gold on top of that. What they do is they know better. They're not going to be able to go out and use that gold, but on the other side, they grab all this money while this is going on by taking gold from people. Okay, they take our real wealth, the real commodity, they stack it up, and then they reestablish, or they try to reestablish a system that they can take what wealth they got and use it against you to control people. And That's how come a total collapse would be wonderful, because then we can redefine this in the sense of freedom. We can say, we don't want your system anymore. We don't want the way you do it anymore, and don't think that we're going to come over to you and ask you for your gold in order to start a monetary system, because it ain't going to happen. If we can stay away from the very criminals that caused the problem in the first place, if they're going to start this problem, why would we go to them after all the dust settles? That'd be it's idiotic.
Yeah,
that's what they're planning on wanting us to do.
It's amazing.
I suspect that there is thought to inject, manufacture, implant the new debit monetary system after the paper system all over the world collapses. I don't believe they're going to be able to do it, but I suspect that's the plan, and the chip in the back of the hand. And you see, all of the hardware is already set up. They've been working on it for the last 40 years. Everything is set up except the chip. All of the hardware, the point-of-sale terminals, the barcodes on all of the products, it's set up on a 666 format with the guard bar number markings. So it's all there. It's ready to go, and that's your new monetary system. All they have to do is chip people with the computer for the scanning at the point-of-sale terminals.
That's amazing. Guys, I got another caller. I want to bring on a Skype caller. Northampton Crown, go ahead.
Hi, how's it going? Am I on the air?
Yes, you are.
All right, well, thanks for having me. I just wanted to say that I appreciate your show a lot. I've been listening to it for quite a while. I discovered it a while back, but I made a site that directs traffic to your show because I appreciate it so much. If you want to check it out, it's doom3.zoe.org.
Sure.
You want me to put the link in the chat?
Yeah, go ahead, buddy. It's fine.
All right, yeah, because, I think your show is really the only show that isn't completely biased like all the other, shows that are on Blog Talk Radio, people who just talk crap about each other. I got to appreciate your show a lot.
I appreciate it, and we all do. And really, time is short, and there's no time for bias. It's just trying to put out the information as quick as possible so people can make the best decisions possible for their families.
Exactly.
Well, Joe, I've got to get in here.
Yes, sir.
And I am very biased. I really like a good cup of coffee.
Okay.
All right. Well, I hope you check out my website, and thanks for having me on the air.
No problem. Take care. All right. Now, folks, John, what were you saying? I'm sorry, John King?
I went and clicked on that, and it listed as an attack page, and I got about 50 windows opening up, and I'm having problems with my Firefox. So do so at your own risk and with caution, people. Joe, I'm going to go to the side and get rid of this attack load, or at least attempt to.
You got it. Boy, they come in all shapes and sizes, don't they?
Well, especially when you look at their IP addresses coming from somewhere like Arlington, Texas, or the Army Intel headquarters in Atlanta, Georgia,
No, that's right.
I was hit one time from White Sands Proving Grounds.
I'm getting I'm getting an email address that comes up that says join at the GNAA, whatever that is. It's a 2006 recruitment drive. It's definitely not one of the good guys. So don't bother clicking that link.
In fact, Joe, is there some way he's still posting that link? Is there some way to block that?
Oh, no, he's gone.
Oh, okay.
He's gone. All right, folks, we're getting back to that. And you know what's funny? And here's the interesting thing, folks. You're doing the right thing and you're saying the right things when they openly attack you like that. So just understand. Don't click the link, and we'll take it from there. Yes, the Doom 3 link is bad. Do not do that. But I have to admit,
that virus.
That was